Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review for My Hero Academia 158, or Boku no Hero Academia 158, Chisaki's Abnormal Compassion. Now this chapter didn't actually have much to it, 16 pages, but we had kind of like a Chisaki moment where it was kind of him getting knocked up into the air and then flashing back and then coming back and then flashing back. And then it was it was all the way throughout where they were continuing the fight between Deku and Chisaki, or Overhaul. And then we had this like small nighttime moment with Ochako or Uraviti, and that was about it. So not much actually happened in this chapter. I think I'll finish it in less than 10 minutes this review, but we did find out a few things and we saw a few things that I'd really like to discuss. So first off, we get the little bit of information that quirks may have been a mutation caused by a virus that was carried by mice. All right, so it was a virus that could go interspecies apparently, and it got into humans and somehow it changed their genetic code so that they were able to develop quirks, and that's basically it. So I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. It's one of the many theories surrounding how quirks came about, and that's cool. That's all fine with me. And it looks like we found out in this chapter that I was right about, and I think a lot of people would have been right about the fact that Eri's bullet thing. They took her quirk and they took her quirk and they messed around with it a bit. They did some research and they made the bullets out of it. The bullets that erased quirks and serums. But it turns out that Eri bullet thing, it rewound Mirio to before his genetic mutation took place. So that's what I was saying. I reckon that the bullet that was shot into him has just reversed his genetic makeup to a point before the quirks came about. So he's basically just a normal human before the quirk mutation came about. So that's what I was saying, and I think we got that pretty much spot on. So anybody else who thought that, good job. We know Chisaki through this chapter. Well, actually, we've known for a while that Chisaki has always been that kind of lone character, the lone wolf. He was possibly abandoned when he was younger, before Old Man Yakuza took him in. And his situation may have arisen, his loneliness and his possible abandonment issues may have arisen from his particularly brutal quirk. We know that he can disassemble people at will and reassemble them, but when he was younger, and let's just say that his disassembly was the first one that manifested, that would have been an issue. Any kids around him and stuff, he would have just disassembled the shit out of them. It would have been a blood splatter against the wall. That's kind of brutal for a kid, So in his small flashback, you actually see him sat alone in like this nursery receptionist type thing with like little toys and shit like that, and he sat there alone with two silhouettes behind a window looking like they're doing one big time. They're running away. So it looks like he's had issues with quirks, well, his quirk particularly, in the past. So he may not be someone who enjoys having a quirk or sees quirks as a gift. So in his eyes, quirks are probably a disease and a misfortune. Hence, in this chapter and in previous chapters, we realize that he wants to rid the world of quirks personally. It's a personal thing. He wants to rid the world of quirks. But tie this in with the fact that he's actually, it seems he wants to pay back Old Man Yakuza for taking him in, but we know already that he's a very twisted individual. Some shit must have gone down in his past, because he's not quite all there. He's very intelligent, he's very cunning, strategic, but he's also a bit crazy, and he decides to go against Old Man Yakuza's decision. So using Eri's quirk, he designed drugs which could either erase or rewind quirks to a point before humanity mutated, and he designed a drug that would restore the lost quirk. So a serum that would restore the lost quirk. And then what he wanted to do was he wanted to provide these to the villains and the heroes, so the villains would get quirk erasing weaponry and the heroes would get quirk restoring medicine, and he wanted them to just like fight against each other and watch the world burn, basically, and while he's just sitting there earning that dollar. So I was like, okay. And basically Old Man Yakuza didn't want Eddie to have to go through experimentation, because he knew what Chisaki was asking for. Chisaki was basically saying, I need to experiment the shit out of this girl, and usually when it's human experimentation, you don't care about the person that you're experimenting on. There's ethics nowadays, but underground shit probably still goes on. So yeah, the Old Man Yakuza didn't really want that for Eddie, but it looks like Chisaki may have actually put Old Man Yakuza out of commission, and he did it anyway. We know he experimented on Eddie, but he may have actually put out Old Man Yakuza. He might have damaged him just a bit. So in the end, the Yakuza would probably restore itself using Chisaki's method, but the truth is, Chisaki is just using that goal, the goal of restoring the Yakuza. He that's just kind of like his cover up to appease Old Man Yakuza, whereas really his own innate goal, his own kind of self-serving goal, is to remove quirks because he's had an issue with quirks in the past, and that's what it looks like. We then come on to the part of the chapter which I really enjoyed: Deku fighting at 100%. It was awesome. It was so good. His energy, we see actually energy flying out of his eyes and out of his pores and shit, and his hair is just stood on end, and it looks like it may have actually changed color a bit. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's because it's we're reading it in black and white, black and white. So it may actually still be that greenish black color, but it does look like it has changed to a lighter hue, maybe some sort of pale green, but I'm not too sure exactly what color here it's changed to, but it does look lighter. When he booted Chisaki up into the air, I was almightily shook. I was like, yo, because Chisaki, like, he used his quirk to kind of absorb everything that he'd broken down within like a 50-yard radius, and he'd broken down people's walls and houses and shit, and he took it all into him, and he's got like 100 arms and shit, and he's become this freaking chimera-ish looking beast with like the dragon head and everything. Just a mishmash of like 100 arms, a beast, and then himself as well. And he looked awesome, and he just got booted into the air. This freaking hulking thing just got pummeled straight into the air. So I was like, yo, Deku at 100% is legit. And you got to remember that even though this is Deku's 100% now, the stronger he becomes in his base form, and the better he becomes at utilizing his power, and the more muscle he puts on, the more mass he gains and stuff like that. His 100% will only increase. So this 100% for him now might be his 50% 5-10 years down the line. So it's awesome to see that, and it's awesome to see his growth. It looks like even Toga peed a little bit when she saw Chisaki getting booted up into the air. She was like, yo, damn. So Deku not giving Chisaki a chance to recover was a smart move and a beautiful thing to see in this chapter. First, he breaks Chisaki's cover by breaking the stone around his back. Then he pummels him a bit, and then he delivers the knockout neck breaker shot, you know, and all you see is friggin' Chisaki going and just getting wrecked. So I really like that, and that was basically the entirety of the chapter. The only other thing I want to talk about is the fact that Night Eye's foresight didn't actually come to pass, or hasn't come to pass as of yet, and Night Eye seems to be saying at the end that this is a different situation to the one he foresaw. So my question is, why is this different to what he saw? We know that Night Eye's previously tried to change the past that he's seen, and he's failed. So it's not like just because Deku and company fought back that the future has changed. Like I said, chances are that Night Eye has fought back a few times in the past before figuring it out, you know, that shit, I can't change the outcome of what I see. I can't change the future that I see. So what I'm saying is, if they change the future just because it's Deku, because it's freaking Ochako, because it's the main crew, I'll feel a little let down. I want there to be a legitimate reason why Night Eye's foresight didn't come to pass. There has to be a reason, like, because we know it's not that it's not because of Night Eye's lack of fighting back. He must have done that in the past. It's not concerning the different people are involved, because Night Eye usually tries to change a past to someone he's seen, most likely All Might, and he couldn't do it. Night Eye couldn't change the fact that Night Eye, in this situation, it's concerning Deku and Night Eye, so it's concerning both of them. So it's not like Night Eye would be able to change that. I'm confusing things a bit now, but what I'm trying to say is there best be a good reason for why Night Eye is seeing a different future now, and why Deku and them have basically broken out of his foresight. Otherwise, I'll be a bit let down. So Horikoshi is actually having a break. He's on a break next week, which is, you know, if he's got to gather data, you know, prepare a solid story, which is always a good thing. I'm all for it. Go for it, bro. But that's about it. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. It was well drawn, this chapter too. Awesome artwork, as usual. So let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I think I'm bang on 10 minutes now, so almost, at least. Yeah, so let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in a bit.